It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to The Local Show, the 2022 Early Winter Edition. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. On The Local Show, we have conversations about local business with business owners, CEOs, CFOs, entrepreneurs, civic organizations, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We talk about how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Crisp fall day.
Why'd you do that? Why did you have to do that?
I had to do that.
You did it because you knew it was going to blow me up.
Yeah. Well, it's got kind of cold out there.
It's still fall.
Haven't turned on the heater myself, the furnace. Yeah. I run the, what do you call it? Electric.
The other thing.
The other things, yeah. Those little electric fireplaces that we have, which is all nice.
No, it's coming. It's coming. What are you going to do? Enjoy it while you can, folks, because.
Got to cut down the, I got to go outside and cut down all the, what do you call those? I want to say perennials or what?
Your neighbor's pool?
Yes, my neighbor's pool. I'd like to cut that. Boy, they're making good progress on that.
That's good. You're talking about plants, yard plants.
The yard
seasonal
plants,
and non-seasonal yard stuff.
And I got to cut them down so that, they come up.
Oh, I got to do that. No, I don't have an apartment. No, actually, I don't do any of that, Tom.
You just have it all taken care of.
It's drive people.
You're one toe away from the old folks home.
I am 2 toes. I am maybe. Okay.
We can put you there too. Well, look, we got a great show for you, folks. Stick around for the entire 2 hours. We're going to have some gripping conversations with people like Matt Mallory. He's the owner of Mallory Unlimited. And then Josh Lang stops by from Redeemer Church. And then John Tamino, co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. We'll have a good conversation with him. Joe Scrippa will stop by. He's the owner of the Scrippa Group. We'll have a real estate conversation with Joe. And then Brian Dumond, president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Maureen Davison is the shelter director at Humane CNY. Lynn High is the chief development officer of the Food Bank of Central New York. And then Shelley Skripnichuk is the owner of Danzer's German and American Gustav. That's a restaurant for those of you keeping up.
I was waiting for you to say that word. I was waiting for you to say Gustav. You didn't let me down.
The Gustav. Well, that's what's on the paper. So right now, we're going to talk with Matt Mallory. Matt Mallory is the owner of Mallory Unlimited. Good morning to you, sir.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, thanks for being here.
Tom, it sounds like a place that would, preserve ducks or something. Yeah.
Well, Mallory.
It sounds so.
You know what I remember about Mallory, because I was an electronics guy, growing up.
Let's see if he knows his history.
Mallory batteries.
No way. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So what do you have to do with that? Is your name at all connected to that?
It is.
No way.
Yep. Yeah, family history. I don't claim any money from it. But, no wealth and fame in that case. But yeah, it is.
It's related to it. Okay.
Yep.
Well, give us your background and maybe a little history on that family name.
Sure. Well, I mean, on MalloryUnlimited.com, the website, I basically spell that out. What's in a name is the page.
Oh, okay.
And we go into that. We go into the shipping industry and the hats. The fedora hat was invented by the Mallorys too.
No kidding.
Yep. So Mystic, Connecticut, and
Did they invent the long rifle? Anything there?
That would be, kind of interesting, right?
Just saying,
for sure. No, but a long line of entrepreneurs, I guess. It's just an entrepreneur by heart. So, Mallory Unlimited, we do the farming aspect under Mallory Markets. We got a little farm stand and bees and chickens, and we're going to get goats in the spring.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the Mallory properties, we have a house on the property that we rent out on Airbnb in Verbo. And then the training company is my big thing, PS and Ed, public safety and education, and travel the country, teaching
classes. For what?
For everything: rifle, pistol, shotgun.
Okay,
sensor tactics, taser, pepper spray. I'm a self-preservation instructor, as I like to name myself.
Okay. So has self-preservation become more top of mind since Biden got in?
So that's a snarky question. I loved it, actually.
Well,
we just didn't he just say the other day he's going to take all of our assault weapons?
All the guns. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
He can't define one, but that's
he
okay.
doubled down on that.
Well, the good thing is he's going to forget by the afternoon.
Yeah, he won't know.
But yeah, it has gotten busier in that sense nationally, with me traveling, certifying instructors locally because of the new CCAA law that the governor kicked into high gear.
What is that?
The Concealed Carry Improvement Act.
Okay, right. I gotcha. Right.
Go ahead. Tell them what they've won.
Oh, yes. Sensitive locations. You can have a gun unrestricted, but you just can't carry it anywhere.
I see. Right. So you can't go to Wegmans if you're concealed carry.
Definitely not. They're anti-gun, so they're not going to put a sign up that says you're allowed to come into their establishment. I guess Tractor Supply did put a sign up, so kudos to them. They're one of the first national brands that have done that, so that's good. But yeah, it's going through court. Hopefully it'll get to the Supreme Court quicker.
Didn't it get kicked aside a little bit already?
So Judge Scuddaby did rule that it's on a lot of the portions of it are unconstitutional, a lot of the sensitive locations, but he also gave the state 3 days to appeal it, which they did Monday. The AG appealed it Monday with like a 168-page appeal.
Okay, so they were prepped. They knew that was coming.
Oh, yeah. They were well ahead of it. And then so now they're just waiting on that judge to either throw out Judge Suddaby's, or not throw it out, but to put a stay on Judge Suddaby's ruling. If they don't put a stay on it, well, then some of the stuff's going to be put off until it gets actually through the court system.
So what should a responsible gun owner be allowed to do or not do?
Well, first off, I say get educated, right? Be educated on the law, regardless if you agree with it or not. You don't want to get caught up underneath these politicians' vendettas and their mindset of making it safer or unsafer or whatever they think. The fact is that it is law, and you don't want to be charged for something, especially gun related. And it's by design, the state has made it a felony, Class D felony, if you're caught in a sensitive location. So literally you walk into a store that doesn't have a sign that says you can have a gun, and you've got your legally concealed handgun on you, and somebody sees it because you bend over or you reach up to grab a box of cereal. And even though you're not a serial killer,
right?
Somebody's going to think, oh, my gun, and they call the police, and next thing you know, that could be a Class D felony, depending on how aggressive the DA is in the county that happens in.
So this is Supreme Court bound?
Definitely. 1,000%, unless the state decides not to appeal it at some point. But I guarantee you, GOA. I mean, I'm in close contact with the attorney. I've had Eric Pratt, the owner of Gun Owners of America, on my show, Meet the Pressers. Another thing I do, I forgot to mention that.
Okay, great.
Meet the Pressers. We interview people that shoot guns.
And where does that air?
It's Zoom, so it airs on. It's we record it on Zoom, and we also use StreamYard to record live shows. But it's on YouTube.
Good.
Yeah, YouTube, all the social media.
So people can find you on YouTube.
Yeah, Meet the Pressers. Okay. But we've had Eric Pratt on the show, and he's the owner of Gun Owners of America, and they will run it all the way to the Supreme Court. They have the funds, they have the backing. They're going to do all the way to the Supreme Court, guaranteed.
If someone wanted to legally, responsibly protect themselves and have a firearm, what's the process? And are you involved in that process?
Yes, for sure.
So explain that to us.
That's predominantly the biggest thing I do is teach people how to shoot guns, but also the classes to be able to apply for their pistol license. So if it's rifle or shotgun, there's not as much that's needed for that. The handgun, there's a lot more. Now, especially after September 1st with the CCAA law, you have to do 18 hours of training, which I teach. I was the first one in the state to put that course together, publicly put it out, and I was the first instructor in the state to hand out the 18-hour certificate to any New York State resident and the first New York City resident.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I think one of my students just replied back and said she got her unrestricted license from Seneca County, and I was the first one in Seneca County to hand a Seneca County resident a certificate. So kind of neat. Nice. But anyway, so there's training involved depending on what people are looking to do. But I always tell people, the Second Amendment says well-regulated, and well-regulated means, in my mind and a lot of people's minds, educated, trained, right?
There you go.
Government shouldn't mandate it, I don't think, right? I'm opposed to the government stepping in and saying, well, you must do training. I'd rather have people say, no, I don't know what I don't know. Let me seek out that training. Just like driving a car. You go to somebody who knows how to drive a car to learn how to drive a car, your parent or whatever. Same concept.
Absolutely. MalloryUnlimited.com. That's where people can see all about you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. MalloryUnlimited.com. Get signed up, get hooked up with Matt Mallory. Thank you for all you do. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You have a great rest of the day.
You as well.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Josh Lang. He's a pastor at Redeemer Church, the Syracuse campus, and he's going to be right here on the local show on 570 WSYR and 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back to the local show. Thank you for spending some quality October time. I was trying to think of a way to incorporate Tober into the local show, like local showtober. You know, they do that with everything, with the beer.
No,
with the,
it's
with
true.
Everything's a tober. Trucktober.
Tom Tober with the local show.
Right, Tom Tober. There you go. It's nutty. Anyway, and let's talk about Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and get a loan. Right now in Loan-tober, you can get a loan from Gettys.
Now more than ever. We'll use platitudes.
Yeah, that's it.
We use platitudes. Yeah, people are still doing stuff. A lot of people decided to hunker down in their homes, so
Sure.
they're getting home equity line of credit, home improvement loan stuff, and they're using the home because the equity's in the home and home values have gone up. So there's more.
Some people put in pools.
Yes, that's true, Tom. Tom, you could get it at Gettys and put that pool in, so you stop looking at your neighbor's pool. But no, it's true. And mortgages are still going out. But then there's the other side of the coin where people are like, I don't know that I want to keep my money in the market right now. Well, they have CDs and certificates of deposits and money in money markets, right?
Right.
So then they're here. I mean, people can do that anywhere, but they can't do it everywhere and not be here. So right here, the people in Syracuse get it at Gettys. People can do all that stuff, lock it down, talk to someone up close and personal at GettysFederalSavingsAndLoan.com. Tom.
There we go. Right now, it's our pleasure to speak with Josh Lang. He is a pastor at Redeemer Church, the Syracuse campus. How are you, Josh?
I'm doing good this morning, Tom. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. So, Josh, what is your background? Did you go to college or Bible school or have, a faith-based profession before you got into this?
Well, first of all, I had the benefit of growing up in the church that I now serve as one of the
That's
pastors.
wild.
And so that was a foundation for me. But then, yes, I did study biblical and theological studies at Regent University.
Okay. That's nice. So when you say you grew up in the church, your parents were part of...
I've been a part of the church for about 41 years.
Wow. That's a long
so I
time.
joke with some of the congregants that, there's people here today who have changed my diapers. And I'm not being facetious in any way.
They really did, huh?
Yeah.
Now, are you originally from Syracuse or from somewhere else?
Well, I was actually born kind of in the western part of the state, and within about a year, the family moved up towards more the Mohawk Valley.
Okay.
And then that was the start of kind of being in the central part of the state.
So is Redeemer just in Syracuse?
No, we have 5 locations in Albany, 2 in Utica, 1 in Rome, and 1 here in Syracuse. And the way we refer to it is that we're one church, but we have 5 locations. So we get the benefit of the pluses of a big church, but also the pluses of smaller congregations.
Yeah, and I always say, people say, where is it? Right across from Nottingham
Yes.
High School. I mean, that's, you can put a number on Jenna Street, but really that's the area people
It's the easiest
know.
way to tell people about where we're at.
And if people were interested in visiting, tell us about the wins of the week and how they would do that.
Yeah, definitely. They can always check us out online, myredeemerchurch.com, and you can get access to our statement of belief. You can get a video of the sermons to hear things like that. But really, the easiest thing to do is show up on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Yeah. We have hot coffee in the lobby, and that's always a bonus. And come right on in. There's not like a specific dress or,
Doesn't it take a lot of courage
It absolutely does.
I mean, you're thinking,
Yeah,
maybe I'm on a spiritual journey and maybe I'm connected with Christ. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I sort of am. Maybe I'm not sure. But I think it takes a tremendous amount of courage to take that step, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It is a big step, to see a sign or to go on a website or to look at somebody's social media and say, what, I'm going to go check that out. I'm going to take a little bit of time on a Sunday morning and I'm going to carve out that space and I'm going to cross the threshold of someone else's building. But the thing that we believe is that it's absolutely worth it. And because we know that there's more to this life than this life, and we also know this is that because it is a big thing, we try to have people there who are going to be friendly and welcome you, answer questions for you. A lot of times when I close a service, I close it by saying, hey, if you have questions about Christianity and following Jesus, come on up front and I'd love to talk with you and spend a minute with you.
Oh, that's nice right there. And that kind of leads me into another question. What is the difference between Redeemer Church and the other flavors of Christianity like Catholic and Presbyterian, Lutheran, Methodist, Episcopalian, and all those?
Yeah, Redeemer Church, we are a Protestant church, so make sure I get that one right out there. And we are doing our best to follow what we see in Scripture and what has been orthodox, true throughout, church history. And but we also, try to do life together, which is a big part of life. Which we see in the New Testament is that, hey, they got together, they believed these things, they did these practices, and they lived their lives in such a way where the world around them could say, hey, man, something's different about these folks.
Yeah, what would you say to someone that say, I don't want to go to a church, a bunch of rules, that's no fun. You know what? I want to live my own life.
Yeah, we hear that a lot, but I will challenge people with this and say, well, if you don't want to live your life by a bunch of rules, I want you to look at your life and honestly say, what rules are you living by and what is that doing for you? Because you're not gonna escape that. And you have to look at the ultimate benefit of it. Yeah, there's some good things that we can do in our lives, but what decisions are we making that are going to affect not only the legacy of our life throughout our life, but also eternity?
Yeah. And on the heels of that comment from Steve, what do you say to people who might, bring up the fact that maybe having faith is like believing in Santa Claus? Right? People will liken going to church and having faith as, well, geez, that's just like believing in Santa Claus.
You're so
How do you
weak.
know?
You're so weak.
Right.
You're just living a dream.
Right. It's not real, because how could there be a God? Look we've got COVID, we've got kids dying of cancer, we've got adults dying of cancer.
Great question.
What do you say to people who feel that way?
Those are legitimate things to say, but I would say this is just because we see suffering into the world, does that mean that there is not a God?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
No. But we have to think like
Yeah.
that. Is what I'm saying is does the presence of suffering and injustice, poverty, sickness, really the reason that there is no God? Let's stop and think about it. But let's look at something that's factual. We have an actual person, Jesus Christ, who was born, he lived, he died, he went to the cross. There's more information throughout history to prove the existence of Christ than even Julius Caesar.
Right.
Okay.
Right? And so here's what we have to ask ourselves. If Jesus Christ really was who he said he is, and he rose again from the dead, then everything he said matters. If he did not rise again from the dead, and if those witnesses did not see him, then nothing he said matters. If Jesus Christ rose again, everything that he says matters.
Sometimes that's a great answer. Sometimes, Tom, I feel like for me, it was like, I don't want someone to be the boss of me. Right? Why should I let God be the boss? But here's what I figured out. Having him as my Lord is better than me having me as my Lord, because I suck at being my own God. So I think it's a decision of choice. That makes sense, Josh?
Absolutely, because listen, we're going to give our lives to someone or something.
Ooh, better said.
I get that. Yeah.
You have to do it. So, for example, if you're a musician, right, and you want to grow in that skill and that ability, you're going to give yourself to that thing. You're going to submit to a certain amount of rules.
Right.
You're going to submit to a certain amount of sacrifice. And what results from that is what you get. And so when we're talking about things like eternity and having hope in the midst of hopelessness, there is no better person to come to and say, Jesus, I want you to be Lord.
That's fantastic.
So, Pastor Josh, 10 a.m. on Sunday.
10 a.m. on Sunday across from Nottingham High School.
Come as you are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't dress up because,
Well, wear clothes.
Wear clothes. That's about
Let's put it this way. They even let Steve in.
There we go. That's fair.
You can do it. Thank you, Pastor Josh. And you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Okay, coming up next, we're going to talk with John Tamino, co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. Keep it right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found the golden nugget of talk radio right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, and any of your digital devices. We are The Local Show, Tom and Steve from Zoe Advertising. Also on the Zoe Advertising YouTube channel, right?
You got it. So just go to Zoe Advertising on YouTube and look at The Local Show, and you can look and watch Tom. Not only hear Tom, but watch Tom and see how handsome he is.
Sure.
And
it's like pulling the curtain back.
And get to know the guests a little better. And certainly smash and like and all those things, Tom.
Right, yes. Well, because people, in order to make that propagate through the YouTube algorithm, they have to like it, and then they should follow us.
Right.
And subscribe to the Zoe, because we put up other content there too.
Absolutely.
It's very nice.
And if we say something that they don't like, then they
well, yeah, we can. So we can certainly comment on it. They can leave comments.
Yeah, absolutely. So please do it.
All right. Well, it's our pleasure to talk with John Tamino. He's the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. How are you, John?
Tom and Steve, I'm awesome. This location is beautiful. I was just telling you guys off air, but I wanted to make sure the people in the community know that you guys stepped it up a notch here in your facility.
Well, this is, our lease expired on the other place, and we started looking and started building. And the studio you're in here was one room, and then Tom had some ideas. Could we expand it? Can we make it a little more roomy? And we're going to record in here. And
so here we are.
That's beautiful. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, love having you.
And it gives Steve a place to live when his wife kicks him out of the apartment.
There is a nap couch. It's not, you can't see it on the cameras, but there is a nap couch,
and a kitchen, and all that. Yeah. John, are you a Syracuse native? What did you do before In My Father's Kitchen?
Yeah.
Did you grow up here?
Yeah, born and raised here. The running joke in my family is my parents came over to the United States in 1964. My mom was carrying me in pregnancy, and I was born here in Central New York in Syracuse, and been here ever since, never left. Went to public high school, parochial school as a kid, lived in the inner city my whole life. I live on the north side with my wife and own a home there now, and I was a restaurateur before I started In My Father's Kitchen.
Are you full Italian?
Half. My dad's Sicilian, left Sicily after World War II as a young boy, 12, and then landed in Argentina, where he met my mother, so I'm half Spanish and half Sicilian.
You must be a really good cook.
Because
those two cultures are fantastic.
Yeah, and very passionate. I'm trying to control myself and not use my hands as I speak.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, you don't tap the
Just
thing.
Don't smash the table.
But you can certainly put your hands all over the place. I do.
He does.
Absolutely. Hey, what's the primary mission of In My Father's Kitchen?
So In My Father's Kitchen was born because of an experience I had with a homeless individual on the corner, and the mission is direct street outreach. So we're going out to individuals and bringing services to them where they're at in homelessness. So it's using food as an initial vehicle to make first contact with someone. And then it's bringing love and compassion to them with supplies, clothing. Now a medical team comes out. So it's about doing direct outreach to someone who's suffering, and these individuals usually don't go to the hospital or go see a doctor. We're bringing everything to them and then building a relationship and getting them connected to services.
What would you say to someone that might say, yeah, you're just enabling them to do that and to abuse drugs, and what would you say to someone that might feel that way?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I hear that a lot. So I'm a guy who overcame 2 addictions. I have 2 brothers that overcame their demonic addictions as well. And it was because of people who believed in us and gave us a second chance. So with me, when people tell me that, I said, if it was your family out there, let's make it personal. If it was your son or daughter's dad or mom or someone, would you want someone to be reaching out to them? And the thing is, we're not enabling them. We're giving them the things that they need to survive outside while they're in the middle of addiction or a meltdown of mental health, and building this rapport and a relationship with them. So when they finally get to the point where they're ready to surrender, they're going to turn to us because they trust us because we've been not judging them, right? So we're meeting them where they're at with a non-judgmental approach until they're ready to say, yeah, I want to change. And I say love never fails. If I want to judge them and shun them, they're not going to turn to us. And I believe that love is the way of doing it.
How can someone do that and feel like they're somebody standing in the corner, we'll work for food. Most of us go, no, you won't. You probably have some kind of an addiction. And my heart goes there, but I don't feel comfortable handing them a couple bucks because I feel like that'd be the wrong thing to do.
So I always encourage not to give money. So give items, like you could give like things out the window like socks, or if you feel like you want to do something, make a goodie bag with things in it that you could hand them with toiletries and things and ask them if they would like it.
Right.
If they want it, they take it. If not, don't be offended. Most of the panhandlers are out there. Panhandling is of an addiction that's going on, and they're looking for money for their stuff, right? So that's why we encourage not to do that. But that's why we built a program called Higher Ground, where it's an alternative to panhandling. Like right today, as I'm speaking right now, there's 9 people on a work van who aren't panhandling that are working for the day in the middle of all this craziness, right? In their life. Because they could work with me for 5 hours with our crew, but they really can't work a job because they wouldn't be able to maintain it. But we're giving them dignity through work. They get paid at the end of the day. And then through that 5-hour process, we're encouraging them to make decisions to leave addiction or get help with their mental health and things like that.
I have 2 daughters, and my heart really breaks when I see females out there who are homeless. Now, not that guys are anything better or anything like that, but, you really... I get concerned when I see a female out there because I think they're a little bit more vulnerable, right? To
100%.
trafficking and all that stuff.
So women are more vulnerable. Just think of even the hygienic part of it. Like your menstrual period and you're living outside and all that. So there's like a lot of moving parts. But you brought up a good point in regards to a lot of the women that we encounter that are experiencing homelessness cross over to trafficking, right? Because if they're addicted and you're not making money holding a sign, they have a body that they end up selling off to get the money to get the stuff. Or there's a guy pushing them out there, like a pimp, we call it, pushing them out to make money, to sleep on a couch or whatever it may be. And because of that, Leanne and I living on the north side, I live literally 2 miles from this location, right in the middle of the north side, in the heart of where all the prostitution is. So we've seen it in our neighborhood. Like we've experienced women getting picked up, walking up and down the street. And Leanne and I were given a home in my father's kitchen, and we've redeveloped it, and now it's beautiful, and we're ready to house women who are coming out of human trafficking with Judge Davis on trafficking court here in Central New York. A lot of people don't realize there is a human trafficking court here. Women who get picked up on a charge of prostitution could go through human trafficking court. And if they graduate that court process, their charge is vacated after an 8-month process. But we're going to give them an opportunity to live with us now for 1 year. We're going to house 2 women at a time, and we're going to help them come to life again.
Wow, what a hope.
Yeah,
right?
Life House is what it's called. Yeah.
Right, and that could change their whole trajectory, right?
If you commit to 1 year, just think about going underground for 1 year and committing to your successful journey of transformation. What's going to happen in a year? I believe these women are going to be totally turned around.
That's fantastic. We're talking with John Tomino, ladies and gentlemen. He's the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. You can see more at inmyfatherskitchen.org. Hey, John, what role does God play in attempting to help the homeless?
Oh, it's huge. For me, I'm a licensed and ordained minister. My wife is as well. We're not out there proselytizing, like walking around with Bibles. We're kind of living our faith, right? I live the Christian experience. I know what happened in my life and how God, when I invited the Lord into my life totally changed. And so we give up people opportunity. They know that's my story. I tell my story. And when we're out there, sometimes guys or gals will ask us to pray for them, to like love on them. And we do that. And I think for me, I bring a little bit of hope. And sometimes it comes through the faith component of there's hope beyond this realm. There's another realm.
Right. I heard you say earlier briefly, surrender. And that's really what you're talking about, isn't it?
I surrendered to God, right? I gave my life over. And for us, like our van driver, Kevin, on our Higher Ground program, is a person who gave his life over and was homeless and gave his life over to the Lord as well. And he's transformed his life. And those are living testimonies and examples that it is possible. And people have experienced that.
Right. Really quickly, because we only have about 10 more seconds, can you tell people how to get involved within My Father's Kitchen? How can they support you?
Yeah, so they could come to our website at myfatherskitchen.org. If they want to financially donate, they could click a donate tab there. If not, we send out a newsletter every month. They could sign up for that as well on our website.
Excellent. Thank you, John Tomino, for all you do and your wife does and your whole team, okay? Thank you much.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Steve.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Joe Scrippa. He's the owner of the Scrippa Group. We'll talk everything real estate next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it and back at it again. You found The Local Show, your golden nugget of great talk radio right here on the weekends with Tom and Steve. So, not a one-sided conversation. It's Steve and I bantering about all sorts of stuff.
I have a story to tell you, Tom.
Go ahead. What's your story?
So, usually you ask me, did you go fishing? Did you go fishing?
Yeah, well, I stopped because you haven't fished.
Go ahead. The other day, earlier this week, I decided to go fishing.
Okay. On the boat?
No, I was going to go chase the walleyes early in the morning. So it's like 20 after 5. I get in my garage. I got my poles. I put my hand down. And what I didn't realize, there's a fishing lure there, Tom.
Oh, goodness.
So, Tom, the fishing lure.
How did I know this?
Tom. So there, actually, if you're on the line.
You're scaring our guests.
So you can see the lure went squarely into my hand.
Yes.
So I ended up spending some time at urgent care. And then they gave me the lure.
It was that deep that you had to go to
I pulled that. So then they gave me the lure in a
I only laugh because it's
container. So I got here's the lure.
Okay.
They delivered it up. There it is.
Oh, isn't that nice?
And then so yes, we pulled it out, and so I lost a couple hours and didn't get to fish. But this may shock you, Tom, but this isn't the first time that's happened.
I believe that. A real man would have yanked that sucker right out.
I tried. I was going to go see Joe Scrippa because I know he's a real man.
Well, here's the thing. I've heard this story so many times, but it was all different times.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I really wanted my dad. So I lost it because Dad had a way he would put the string around the base of it. It's called the string method.
Yes, of course.
And then you give it a yank. And he pulled it out a couple times, but I don't have. So I went to urgent care. I was the first patient. The guy put a little shot in.
Goodness.
Okay, we got it. They pulled it out and had a look.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Did you cry at all?
No. I just felt I had to be honest about what happened. So I had to be transparent.
So is your boat still floating because you were having trouble
with
it taking on water?
I was up. I have emptied it out. It's time for my friends at 43 North Marina to
put it away. All right. Well, there you go. Something that's not going to go away is real estate. It's all around us and everything, and we have our local expert. His name is Joe Scrippa. He owns the Scrippa Group, scrippagroup.com. How are you, Joe?
Great, Tom. Yourself?
Oh, very good, my friend. Very good. Haven't seen you around the block, but then again, I've been doing all these wedding receptions on the weekend, so I don't get out much.
I think everybody seems to be very spread thin these days.
Yeah, very busy.
Yep.
Pools in the backyard. they increase the value of your home, or do they make it go down?
It's funny. I was just listening to something on YouTube today, and the fellow was insisting that pools in the backyard make it go up. Make it go up.
And that's something.
But it's per somebody's personal taste. If you don't want the maintenance and all that, it's a headache. Believe it or not, in my 20 plus years of doing this, I've had people buy houses and fill in the pool.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Really?
Right?
Well, I guess if you were a little older and you never thought you would use it, you could do that. But the people behind me, kind of kitty corner behind me, are having a pool all dug out.
Can you see it, Tom?
And I can see it beautifully.
Did you ever want a pool, Tom?
Hey, I gotta, they're doing it to just razz me.
Yes.
It's just to say, here's what Tom does.
I talked them into it.
Joe, give us a little history. How'd you get into real estate, and what does your Scrippa Group do for people?
Well, I got into real estate a little over 20 years ago, like I just mentioned, and I was previously owned a wholesale company, started purchasing some houses, and thought it would be easier to get my real estate license, and it's been a sentence ever since. But actually, no, it's the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
I absolutely love what I do. And I graduated from residential real estate to commercial real estate, although my office, we still sell a significant number of homes every year. I personally focus on commercial real estate and management, asset management, property maintenance for clients that own property.
What is the advantage of a person who owns property using a company like yours for property management?
Well, we kind of do everything. So that's from finance to maintenance to, we do all the books, records, and we watch the inflows and outflows, manage the budgets, and make sure the financial performance is where it should be.
So if someone had a commercial property, maybe it was inherited or they had a strip mall or they had some property, you can fill the space with tenants. You can let them know if it's profitable, not profitable.
Correct. So
you
not only
fix the roof and cut the lawn.
Correct. Not only the management, but we get the physical plant into the condition it should be, so that we can bring the best leasing possible. So we do a lot of leasing. We do a lot of sales too, but our real specialty is management, maintenance, and leasing, which is brokerage.
Are people bad at managing their own properties, or are you just better at it?
A lot of people. Well, it's just like they say about doctors. You're not going to go to an allergist to get a brain surgery, right? So we specialize in property. That is what we do. If a lot of property owners might be working in an office environment all day, 9 to 5 or 7 to 7, so we focus on what we do, and that is all we do is real estate.
Do you see a lot of new construction going on around town?
There is some new construction. I think we're going to start to see a lot more with the oncoming of the new Micron plant. Sure. I think there's going to be an absolute demand for new housing. Right now, I continue to look at the MLS, the multiple listing service, that shows all the residential listings.
Yeah.
And I look suburb to suburb, and I see 30 houses on the market. In each suburb, for instance, Salina.
Is that a big number or a low number?
That's a very low number.
Okay.
I was used to seeing 100, 120.
Wow. Yeah.
So the numbers are still low, and the the prices are holding steady regardless of the interest rates. So real estate is
what about commercial?
Strong.
What about commercial apartment complexes? Some people decide, like we did, hey, you know what, we don't want to do this.
We're going to see a huge surge in the construction of apartment complexes.
Oh, we are? Okay.
There's several
Notice
coming.
that, yeah.
Several coming out of the ground very soon. Yes.
And is Guy Hart and his organization, are they planning on making residential living spaces instead of mall space over there?
I think over at the Great Northern Mall, yes, Guy's purchase of that. I believe he's going to do somewhat of a lifestyle center with residential, entertainment and retail.
They get furniture from Joe Bright right there.
Yeah, right. They got all that. And
that was a great start. That was a great start.
He cleaned that up nice.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yep. And United Auto Supply just bought the Sears store.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, look at
So
that.
I believe they're going to have
nice.
a portion of their business there and open it up to some other leasing as well.
Right. And then Lakeshore Country Club, he's supposed to do lifestyle there
That
as well,
is Guy
right?
Hart also. And I believe, again, with the oncoming White Pines, the White Pines development,
Right,
I
that
think Guy's going to be in a great position to be doing some nice home sales and development of the apartments.
What do you think about people moving out because of Micron?
People moving out. I haven't heard that.
Just opinion, I thought, and this is just me pontificating, that some people might be close to retirement age and they don't want the extra traffic, maybe the influx of people, and they say, you know what, let's sell.
Sure. I would see that a little bit above our age group. I could see some people that spurring some people to move because our prices will continue to rise. So if we have somebody a little bit beyond us in years, they might cash in well on their real estate right now. They're home.
Another reason to move to Florida or to Texas.
Well, after that storm, I think people are rethinking.
One little storm, Tom? No, that's fair.
Yeah, when storms wash away roads, I get nervous. All right, so, hey, that's Joe Scrippa, a wealth of knowledge in the commercial real estate, and he does do some residential over there at the Scrippa Group. You can see more about them at thescrippagroup.com, scrippagroup.com. Thank you, Joe, for all of your insight and for what you do.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Hey, kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have conversations with Brian Dumond. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Maureen Davison is the shelter director at Humane CNY. And then Lynn High stops by, chief development officer at the Food Bank of Central New York. And then Shelley Skripnichuk is the owner of Danzer's German and American Gustav. She'll be around as well. Stick around. Hour number 2 of the local show starts really soon.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for some engaging interviews with Brian Dumond. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. Maureen Davison is the shelter director at the Humane CNY. Lynn High is the chief development officer at Food Bank of Central New York. And then we'll talk with Shelley Skripnichuk, who is the owner of Danzer's German and American Gustav. We're broadcasting from the Zoe Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. And I got a story for you, Steve.
Oh my gosh! Are your neighbors putting things together that's making you jealous again?
Yes, of course. There's the pool thing, but no, this is actually real. For the first time in all of my driving life, I hit a deer. Well, actually, the deer hit me, and it was a baby deer, so it was no fun to hit that deer. So I was driving
venison now.
No, I was driving through Bridgeport. We were coming back from on 31, and I said to Kelly, hey, look, there's a deer, and it was off to my right. It had pranced across the road. So we turned our heads for a split second, and then all of a sudden I went, whoa! And I'm, pulling the trailer with the DJ equipment in it, and it was like, ba-boom, and it clipped it, and it went off, and we were all like, oh my gosh. It was like that scene in Tommy Boy after they hit the deer, and we were all like, oh, I can't believe I hit it. It was terrible, and I don't know if it survived or not. It ran off into the field.
And died.
I'm sorry. That's terrible. I like to think of it as recuperating, and it only got clipped.
My dad used to say, there's always more than one.
Yes.
So if you see a deer, and we used to go up north a lot.
Yes,
if a deer crosses the road, slow down.
Because
there's always more. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah. And it's the first time that's ever happened to me. And I've heard of stories of people just driving along innocently and they jump off onto the hood. So
you don't know if it lived, and
I don't.
And there was no venison. So.
And the weird thing was that the next day, of course, my daughters and son were out there looking at the truck, and there was absolutely no damage to the truck. So I know I couldn't have hit it that hard, but there were all sorts of little hairs in the grill. So they were like, ooh, that's no fun. Goodness. But anyway, let's talk to a real man now. Brian Dumond. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. How you doing there, Brian?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, and I think this is like the second time we've had him in, physical studio. So it's cool to see you. And I like that you're sporting a nice hat there. New York Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. So folks go on. They look at this. They look on YouTube, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see that bright, never been washed Giants hat that you're wearing. That's a new hat, isn't it?
Did you get that straight from the place? Or?
It's relatively new.
The place. Okay. Tom's such a sport. The place.
Yes.
Stadium, whatever.
Yes. No. For all the grief I've taken on this show,
I was going to say,
for the New York
Giants, look the other way.
For the New York Giants being less than
perfect,
we are 4-1 this year.
Yay!
Same record as the Bills.
Right.
I mean, who would have thought? Not me. So I'm going to celebrate every chance I get.
As you should.
And you should. What happened, Brian? Because my family were big Giants fans, right? So I've always associated, Syracuse football fans with the New York Giants.
Right.
When did it switch over to the Bills?
When the Giants started to stink and the Bills started to be good.
That's it, huh?
I think that's exactly it. So I'm kind of sit on the fence, all right? I root for the Bills.
Of course,
and I root for the Giants. But if the Giants are playing the Bills, then I'm all Giants.
Did you want
Okay,
Norwood to
go.
make the kick or not make the kick?
Well, let's put it this way. I was very happy that it went wide right.
Okay. Right? Tom has no idea what we're
That's
talking about.
something else.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tell us about Geddes. What's going on?
Geddes, we are rates continue to increase, and I have to say this is really kind of neat. We currently have I'm going to look at my notes here, guys,
Well, you're
because
more
I
than
got
welcome to.
all kinds of gobbledygook that I got to say when I talk about numbers. But
yes.
a couple of years ago, we were talking about a 3% mortgage.
Yeah, right.
know.
Okay.
Sure.
Now we're talking about a 3% CD. Now, it's incredible the changes that have happened in the world and in the country here. Yeah. But we have a 3% CD for 19 months.
Do terms and conditions apply?
Oh, there are. I have all this stuff I got to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now that I've let the 3% out.
Go ahead. We'll relax.
So get comfortable here. 3% rate, 3.04 annual percentage yield. Minimum deposit is $500. Maximum deposit is $1 million. Effective September 22nd, and for a limited time, all rates subject to change without notice. Penalty may be imposed for early withdrawal, and that may reduce earnings. So those are the magic words.
Thanks for coming today,
that
Brian.
you have to say, member FDIC.
Thanks for coming to the show.
Can you believe that? But really, the regulations that are in place really are all designed so it's not misleading to the consumer.
Sure.
And
that's
so
important.
I'm not sure that all of that means anything to anybody other than they're getting 3% for a CD. And that's a big deal. 19 months.
Yeah. What do you see? How much money do you see people putting into a CD on average? What do you think?
Well, the average CD, I would say, is somewhere in the neighborhood of about $50,000.
Wow, that's pretty good.
You can go as low as $500. So what I tend to do, and this is in my world, is when the rates are going up like this, I set $50 or $100 aside a paycheck and let it accumulate up to $500, and then boom. Kick it over to a CD and get a little additional rate.
So why not a money market?
Well, money market is great too. That's where I would put my money as it's building. Okay, money market, you get a premium rate, so it's a little bit better than a traditional savings account,
right?
But it's liquid. Now, a CD is going to tie up your money, but you're going to get a better rate. So you have to decide: do I need access to this money today, tomorrow, next week? If you do, a money market's your best bet. If you have time to set it aside, 6 months, 8 months, a year, whatever it is, then a CD might be the best rate, best way to go. Because if you tie it up and then you say, oh, geez, I want to take it out now, there are penalties, as you heard when I was reading all that gobbledygook.
Yeah, but again, as you walk in and the person that you're doing that with, you make eye contact with.
Well, absolutely, and I was just going to say that, Steve. That we're talking with Brian Dumont. He's the president of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan, and these types of conversations are best had in person. You just don't want to buy things online. And I mean, if anybody's ever bought from Amazon, and I gotta put that out there. There's lots of returns. And you can't ask questions and you can't do anything. So you don't want to take your finances and go far away. You want to talk to Brian and his team, and you're accessible too. People can actually see you there at the bank and wave and all that stuff.
I put out my direct line with a thank you letter on every new account.
That's
so
great.
It's 315-671-5921. I mean, they can call me directly. It doesn't go through the receptionist.
Sure.
It goes right to me.
Tell us about Prada Homes and Ladies Night, Brian. Ladies Night.
So we are sponsoring Ladies Night.
Yeah.
October 20th, and we're proud sponsors. And I got some details for you here. I got all kinds of notes.
Great. Go ahead, man.
You know, and so essentially, Parade of Homes is October 13th to October 23rd. But up on Onondaga Hill, we are going to be in the Old Town Estates in the Harrington home.
Nice.
And with a ladies' night sponsorship.
Very good.
October 20th. Come and say hi to our folks are going to be there. They're going to have some things to hand out.
Can men come?
Most men can come. However, Steve will be excluded.
Right.
Tom's identified as a man these days. Right, Tom?
At least half the time.
Okay.
So men are welcome, but they did designate it ladies' night,
That's
and
fun.
so we said, that's kind of a fun night. Let's take care of the ladies that are customers and give out something accordingly.
So still can get mortgages,
Wonderful.
still can get home equity line of credits. It's all there, and that's all it get us, Tom.
Excellent. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for stopping by, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
I will. Go SU, go Giants.
There we go. All right, Maureen Davison is coming up next. We're going to talk with her. She's the shelter director at Humane CNY. Next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back, folks, to The Local Show. We appreciate you listening to us and watching us on YouTube. Go to the Zoe page. Steve and I are both from Zoe Advertising, Steve's little brainchild that he started a while back. How long has it been that Zoe's been in operation now? 10 years?
We corped it about 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It was a DBA, and then it was a corp.
Right.
But,
while.
but the Local Show, over 3.5 years.
Sure.
And we've talked about it before. Yes, it was my idea, but you were the wind behind my sails or wings or whatever it was,
beneath
Tom.
your wings.
And thank you, Central New York, for welcoming us, because the numbers are great. A lot of listeners.
Yeah, lots.
Businesses that are on here and organizations always hear, everywhere hear, hey, people heard us. Hey, people heard us. And that's great.
Right.
That people are connecting to local radio, which was our dream, Tom, to connect local people,
business,
because everything's so
raise awareness.
far away.
Yeah. And of course, the pandemic didn't help and pushing people toward
You have
big,
to mention
huge
that,
box
Tom.
stores.
I'm just ignoring that whole thing.
I know. I'd like to. Oh, just crazy. But look, it's our pleasure right now to speak with Maureen Davison. She's the shelter director over at the Humane CNY. I want to say the Humane Society, but when did it change from Humane Society? Is that because I'm so old I remember that? Or?
It's always been the Humane Association of Central New York.
So Tom's always been wrong.
Right.
Awesome. I say that every week.
No kidding. Oh, that's funny. So, Maureen, where are you from? Are you a Syracuse native?
I am not. I'm from Watertown originally, and when I came down to go to college, I stayed.
Oh, where'd you go to college?
Lemoyne.
Oh, nice. Did you have fun there?
I did.
So were you really Watertown, or were you like Dexter or Sackett's Harbor, or
Nope, I was
really
Watertown.
Okay.
Full on Watertown.
That's right.
All Arsenal Street in a bag of chips.
Oh, right.
Do you have any compromising pictures that were taken on Dolphy Day when you went to school there? Or
They probably exist.
That's funny. And what did you major in? What was your expertise?
So I was a computer science major, and then I spent 31 years working in IT.
No kidding. You're
And
so young.
Not really that young.
Yes, you are.
And smart.
Yeah.
Then I retired a few years back and became the director at the Humane because I was bored.
No, really? That's something else.
And I love animals.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. So what's the primary mission of Humane CNY?
Our mission is to take in owner surrenders and other cruelty cases in Onondaga County. We do help other counties when we have room, and we rehabilitate and rehome them.
That's nice. Oh, Steve, you can jump right in
so
there.
that's dogs, cats, raccoons, ferrets, deer. I mean,
dogs, right now, we have dogs, cats, rats.
Rats?
We take hamsters. We just rehomed a 6-foot snake.
I thought she was going to say a 6-foot hamster. That's some hamster.
So, mostly small animals, dogs and cats. Birds occasionally.
Cats and rats and elephants. Belong and forlorn. There just ain't no unicorns.
So people that are used to driving by that facility have seen some changes over the years, yes?
Oh yeah, we have a great new facility. I mean, the rooms and the kennels were all renovated.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where it is.
It's at 4915 West Taft Road, Liverpool.
So kind of between Wegmans and Henry Clay Boulevard?
Yeah.
In that
It's
window?
kind of near Wegmans. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can people just
I didn't know that.
Can people walk in, or do they need an appointment, or how's it work?
Right now, we've been letting walk-ins come in between 12 and 4:30 to see cats and kittens. For dogs, we ask people to make an appointment, mainly because, a lot of our dogs are larger dogs that have some restrictions as to the type of home they can go to. So we like to screen people a little bit first to make sure we have the right fit before they make the trip out.
So what is the process of adopting a pet from your organization?
So we have an application that somebody would fill out, and then we check that you own your home or have landlord approval. Everybody in the family has to meet the dog or cat. And then we check your personal reference and your vet reference to make sure any prior animals were up to date on shots, spayed and neutered.
Interesting.
So Tom, you got to be a good dog parent.
Right.
So that cuts you out, right?
No, well, sometimes Mikey does try my patience.
You have to love the animals, because Tom might not make.
Well, like last night, I'll just give you a great example. I'm downstairs. I don't have my studio. My studio's built, but I haven't painted the walls and everything. So I'm still like in the main part of the basement with my studio stuff, and I'm making some commercials, and I'm hearing back and forth, and I texted my wife and I said, why is Mikey pacing in the furnace? Mikey's my beagle, and his nails are too long, and he's climbing over the floor because my wife was cooking, and of course beagles, they smell that food.
And you were trying to record?
I was trying to record.
That's awesome.
So I said, make him go in the living room and lay down. Okay, I'm done with that. But anyway, no, I love my pets, love my dog. So let me ask you this: was there an uptick in people adopting animals during COVID?
During COVID, yes.
Okay.
There were a lot of people looking for dogs. Since then, the surrender rate is very high.
Oh, I see. So people thought, geez, I need a pet, I need a companion, and now, well, it's not so much. That's terrible.
It's very bad right now, especially countrywide, really.
So do you have more animals than you can house?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness, that's a challenge.
We have never had to turn away as many people as we do now. We get 10 to 15 requests every couple of days to take in dogs and cats.
Terrible.
It's really bad.
Oh,
my
okay.
goodness.
Well, and that kind of leads me to my other question, which is, if people see evidence of cruelty, real cruelty, do they come to you? Are you the first line of defense? Should they call the Humane?
We do get a lot of calls. We are not the first line of defense. For the city of Syracuse, there's a whole cruelty department.
Okay.
And then the other counties, the CNY SPCA takes care of.
Okay, and is that number online or something? Like, where would you go?
Yeah, there's online numbers that the SPCA website has all their numbers, and then the city of Syracuse as well.
What does SPCA stand for? Does anybody know?
It's fun.
I didn't mean to put her on the spot. I thought that it was like
it's fun to go to the SPCA.
No, that's not that thing. Well, maybe somebody knows.
So you read that. You ask a question, Tom. I'll look it up because I can do that.
So, but if we see like cruelty issues and things like that, we should go to the SPCA. But what if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, look, my neighbor is just not good."
we hand out the numbers that they can call. But the city of Syracuse does come to us with the cruelty cases.
Oh, so they bring you the animals.
We will take the animals from the city of Syracuse.
So, Tom, this just in.
Yes.
From our friends at Google, Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Okay, that's right.
You know what? We all do that.
Yeah.
Tom just tricked us.
So they're the first defense for a lot of the counties that they serve. And
Right.
then, we have a bunch on cruelty hold right now pending trials.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Talk spadering, Tom.
Spaying
and neutering.
Yes.
Spaying and neutering, very important.
Right.
One of the big issues right now, though, is because there was such a large influx of animals and also a shortage of staff in the veterinary field, it takes a very long time to get a spay and neuter appointment. Vets are booking months and months out. Some of the places that help are booking months and months out. So it's been very difficult.
Wow. Crazy stuff. But so it's interesting that you can get all kinds of animals over there.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, from snakes and all that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Do you have any special guests right now that need a home?
We have 5 rats left that need a home. We had 18 rats.
What kind of people like rats? She doesn't want to incriminate anybody.
Special people, Tom.
There is all people that like rats usually have had other smaller animals, ferrets, hamsters, gerbils, things like that. Rats are very
they be
social.
nice?
They are nice. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Rats are people too, Tom.
Yeah. Very social.
So briefly, now you have a dog that has a disability we were talking about earlier.
We do. We have a dog that we took in that was found stray, missing a foot.
Oh my!
And,
that's terrible.
Yep, she's a very large dog. She's a Mastiff. She's absolutely wonderful, and she had to have her leg amputated, but she's getting around great.
And she's open for adoption.
She's ready for adoption. Her name is Lily.
So Lily, if we went to humanecny.org,
Yep.
we could start the process of maybe having a conversation about Lily or any other animals or the rats.
Right.
Tom.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Maureen, for all you do and all your staff does. And you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk with Lynn High. She's the Chief Development Officer of the Food Bank of Central New York, and we'll talk to her next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it, ladies and gentlemen, at the Local Show. Thanks for joining us and having some good conversation with many people who are of local bent. They have local businesses, they're local organizations. You'll hear it all here, local, and we have a ball doing it, especially during the holidays. You know, as the holidays approach, people get more and more into their families and into the local environment because people come in from out of town. They come back to where they roosted. Is that a thing?
Yeah, sure. It's funny you said that. The holidays. I didn't know what you were going to say because I never know what you're going to say.
Right, which is good.
And I was thinking about the holidays. I was thinking about you working at Radio Shack 40 years ago. I'm in service merchandise. You're ramping up for the, around Thanksgiving. You're ramping up for the holidays.
It's my favorite time of year.
The day after Thanksgiving, we worked a 12-hour day.
Yes, all the time. Yeah.
And as a kid.
Yep.
As a 16-year, nobody cared back then, right? And it was different. It was different times.
It was cool. Over at Radio Shack, we used to put the big ribbons and bows around the laser disc players and the big speakers and all that. That was fun.
Yep. Service merchandise, right?
Yeah.
So you had that conveyor belt, and you were you'd pray to God that your stuff would actually come out, but sometimes it didn't. It got lost or whatever. Yeah. Selling cameras back there and doing the stuff that I loved.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot about electronics, stereo, sound, and things.
VCRs for places don't exist anymore.
VCRs for like $2,000.
Yeah.
Think about what that would be in today's dollar. Right?
Crazy stuff, man.
But different times, everybody just goes online and goes, yeah, I took care of it on Amazon.
And the other thing people think about now, of course, is food. So it's very appropriate to have Lynn High on right now. She is the Chief Development Officer at the Food Bank of Central New York. How you doing there, Lynn?
I'm great, guys. How are you?
Good.
I can add to your story.
You can.
She's really shy, Tom.
My long hours the day after Thanksgiving and leading up to Thanksgiving, my high school job was at Harrison Bakery. So I went home and I smelled like a donut every day.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Confectionery Delight. That's Harrison. Wonderful place.
Yeah, well, I worked those long hours, but just with donuts, not with electronics and such.
Did sales go up on Black Friday?
The day before Thanksgiving really was kind of a nightmare.
The big thing. So what did you do aside from Harrison?
A little bit everything.
Yeah, what did you go to college for?
My degree actually is in sports management because I made up a degree at the University of Buffalo because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I did. You can apply to the school. You can petition the school and make up a degree program. You have to justify it and you have to have professors sponsor you. So instead of actually declaring something they offered, I went through all that work.
Very
to
good.
be sports management and because I grew up with sports and I ended up working at the Buffalo Sabres.
That's pretty cool. Were they winning back then?
I like to say that they haven't really been to the playoffs since I left.
Okay, I
It
gotcha.
was the year of the cup. If you're familiar with hockey, skating the crease and all that kind of stuff. Dominic Hasek, all those guys were there.
Yeah. The last hockey game, Tom, I watched was the Olympics in 1980.
That's funny.
When the USSR,
Sure.
Yeah, so,
Some of us are a little too young to remember that.
That was the last. I've been to a Crunch game or two. They're exciting in person.
Hockey's amazing in
On
person.
TV,
Yes,
I
it
find
is.
it not captivating. Is that
You're
fair?
like what I like to call a Fox fan. You liked when it was on Fox and they made the glowing puck.
Oh,
don't
that's
you
kind
You'd
of cool.
watch it around. You called them Fox fans.
That would have been me because you don't see the speed when you watch it. You go to a Crunch game.
Yes, I've
things
gone.
are just.
Yeah.
It's
happening, man.
amazing.
It's very different
But
in person.
TV, it's like who cares?
Very nice. So
Sorry, we're here to talk about the food bank.
No, that's okay, and we will. I bet you partied a little bit over on Delaware Ave.
Chippewa.
Chippewa. Okay, there you go. Very nice. Think I don't know, Steve? Huh? I know.
I
these
know
things.
you don't know.
All right. So, what led you to the food bank?
So my husband actually used to work in local television media. We were living out of town, decided to move back to Syracuse where I grew up. And he got a job at then WSCM. It was before it was CMY Central.
Okay. What did he do there?
He was a photographer.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so he was a photographer there.
What was his name? Or what is his name? It's not like he's a was.
Well, he changed it to Prince. No, Jason High.
No, I don't know. Jason.
I like to say he's the 6'4" bald photographer that used to be around.
That guy?
That guy.
I've known a lot of photogs, but I don't know him.
So you might if you saw him, but he was there for 6 years, and then he left there and went to now Spectrum, but formerly Time Warner. He was there for Time Warner, and actually he got a job still shooting and editing videos, and he works for SUNY Oswego now. He's been there more than 6 years. 7 years almost.
We've known quite a few people up at Oswego that are in that department.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, he's in a different department than the ones you're thinking of. I know who you're thinking of, and it's a different department.
Different. Okay.
Well, Tim is up there now, too.
Tim Taylor, yeah.
Tim Taylor, yeah.
So he works with Tim a lot, and then Jim Kearns.
Yeah, Jim
He works
Kearns,
with a lot,
sure.
but he's in a different department than them.
jeez.
Does that have anything to do with the food bank at all?
No, nothing.
nothing.
We still haven't talked about
I think
that.
we need another 10 minutes, guys.
Reset the clock. Here we go.
Go ahead. Food bank.
So the food
Food
bank.
bank. So I got a job at, I took care of my grandmother. She passed, and then I started kind of looking for a job. And I was hired by Salvation Army of Syracuse area here, and I worked for them for about 5.5 years. And then I went to the food bank, and in about 10 days, it'll be 12 years that I've been there.
Wow. Well, you do a great job over there. What's the relationship of the Central New York Food Bank and the individual food pantries?
So we kind of liken ourselves to we're like the distribution center that is behind the scenes of each individual food pantry, soup kitchen, the emergency food network. So we have, a 70,000 square foot facility where we have dry goods storage and we have refrigerator freezer space, and we're accepting in truckloads of food from United States Department of Agriculture, their food commodities program, from donated food, whether it's coming from food manufacturer, distributor, farmer, retail partner. And then we're also purchasing food. On average, we purchase, I'll say maybe 650,000 pounds of food every month.
Wow.
We're distributing out 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 million, depending on the month, back into the community. So we're that kind of big distribution center behind the scenes. We have a fleet of vehicles. It's bringing them out to those individual food pantries and soup kitchens so that they can serve the people that are in need right in their community.
So you're the mothership.
Sure.
Right?
Mothership of food.
Or distribution center.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, in addition to that, we do have direct distributions. We have our mobile food pantry. We have fresh foods. We offer nutrition education, SNAP outreach. There's a whole host of services that we provide in addition to that food for individuals and families that are facing food insecurity.
How can people get involved? It's a great cause. How can people get involved?
Well, there's many ways. First thing, go to our website, foodbankcmy.org. You can find out about all of the volunteer opportunities that we have. You can find out information about food drives. We ask for people to help us with our advocacy efforts because elected officials need to know how different pieces of legislation are going to affect the constituents in the communities that they are representing, whether it's local, state, or federal level. And then really, of course, monetary donations are really key to us being able to provide this food. I mean, we need to keep our trucks on the road.
Yes,
and I mean,
course.
we drove over 300,000 miles just last year.
Oh, good golly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Can people physically volunteer too?
Yes, people can physically volunteer. We have volunteers almost every single day at the food bank, helping to sort food, pack boxes of food. But we have a really great volunteer core. So I think sometimes people go on and they look at that portal that we have because it shows you everything that's available, and they say, I can't get in for the next 2 months. But it's just keep trying because it changes. We add things. Like just today, I added the next 4 Wednesdays so we could pack bags of food that are going to go to children in the Syracuse City School District.
Right.
And I literally added those 5 minutes before I came here.
So it's probably good to get involved now, of course, with the holidays approaching. I imagine you see a little bit of an uptick, Grass?
Yes, we do. We see, I mean, just in general, it's not just the holidays we're seeing, but we're seeing that uptick because of everything that's going on in the economy. From what we're seeing, the number-wise, is it's about a 40% increase so far that we've seen in the past few months.
Well, you and your organization do such a great job. Lynn, thank you for your energy and for your organization. Lynn High right there, Chief Development Officer at the Food Bank of Central New York. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
You guys too.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Shelly Skripnichuk. She's the owner of Danzer's German and American Gasthof right here on the local show on 570 WSYR and 106.9 FM.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoe Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again with The Local Show, and thank you for sticking around for the past couple of hours, having a nice conversation with yourselves and us.
It's
listening.
Slippery, Tom.
Yeah. Steve dropped his pencil 3 or 4 times. And
I got it now. I'm going to hold on to it. So.
Very good. Yeah, put it in your mouth. Remember in the old days, you used to chew on pencils?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
That was when lead tasted good, right? And it was okay to eat lead?
Tom, this may surprise you. You want to hear an elementary school story?
Yeah, go ahead, quick.
This may surprise you, but I got an eraser stuck in my ear.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Okay, right?
And that explains a lot.
Had to go to the doctor. They had to wash, it was like, and you're like, I got to tell my mom. I don't know, it hurts. They're looking, there was an eraser, so they had to do the whole thing. So I know that surprised you.
I remember in elementary school putting teeth marks in pencils. That was a big thing.
You would find one, and it was all chewed on around the end. You're like, yeah.
Now they don't allow any of that. You can't eat paint chips. You can't do any of the fun stuff.
All the fun. They don't have the civil defense drills. Remember, you used to go in the hallway and cover your head and hide under the desk.
Yeah.
All those things. Yeah. They took all the fun out of everything.
That was all fun. All right. Well, tell us about Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. I've been editing a bunch of videos of testimonials. People just saying wonderful things about them. What do you say?
I say wonderful things about them. You know what? And those videos you were looking at are their customers just
genuine.
Say, how do you feel about doing business with Safe Harbor? And they talk, and they really get peace of mind from making a plan.
Yes.
Because everybody knows people that have lost everything to long-term care.
Yeah.
As they get older and things happen, and if people don't make a plan, they haven't made a plan, and it's a tragedy.
Long-term care rate around our area, $14,000 a month.
A month. So
it's incredible to believe.
So if the house is worth whatever it is, divide that and say goodbye to the house. Yeah. So every week they help people make plans. Sometimes that's the way to go. Once in a while, maybe they just need a will updated. But either way or anyway, you got to have that conversation, and they're really good at it. I always say, don't go to the guy that did your traffic ticket or your adoption or your house closing. That they don't know that space. Not only does Safe Harbor know it, they teach it to other attorneys nationwide.
Absolutely.
So they're great at it. So if you haven't done it, make a call. You can leave a message on the weekend, or you can reach out on the website, but 370-9977. Write that down, 370-9977. Or you can connect on the website, safeharborwillsandtrust.com, and say, hey, let's start a conversation. And they're just amazing.
Excellent. All right, let's start a conversation with Shelly Skripnichuk. She's the owner of Danzer's German and American Gasthof. What's a Gasthof?
It's a restaurant.
A restaurant. Well, there you go. That's simple enough, right? And that's German. We're speaking German. Or I'm trying to speak.
German to you.
German to me. You actually, did you live in Germany? Is that what you said last time? Or
Yeah, I lived there off and on for 8 years.
Oh, good golly. Is that what gave you the kind of the itch to want a German restaurant, or not really?
Let's just say no. You own it now.
Yeah, it's been a challenge.
And well, sure, you go coming in and out of COVID and everything. What kind of food do people like? Tell me about the food.
Oh, we have some great sauerbraten. Our
Love
Jaeger
that sound.
schnitzel is awesome.
Jaeger schnitzel. What is Jaeger schnitzel again? Refresh my memory.
It's a pork dish laced with wine and cream sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you gotta have a lot of mushrooms on it.
Oh, I love mushrooms.
Yes to the mushrooms.
Yes.
So
Yay.
So
and do you get noodles with that too? I love the broad
You can
noodles.
have it over noodles or spetzel.
Spetzel. What's spetzel?
Spetzel's a little egg
Kind of an egg noodle thing? Yeah,
noodle
okay.
dumpling.
Gotcha.
So
A little small egg noodles.
Okay.
So we're talking food up at Danzer's.
Yes.
We used to go up, Tom, before the SU games.
Yeah.
So right on what street are you on? Right there.
Ainsley.
Ainsley.
Yeah.
So you got to go up Brighton up that way.
Yep.
To the dome parking.
To the dome parking where
Yeah.
that, you go on the back side there. And oh yeah. But so what is in sauerbraten?
Eye around, marinated.
What is it?
for-
Eye
around.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
beef.
Okay.
Okay.
So we marinate it for a minimum of 3 days.
Okay.
Usually 5.
And that's on noodles too.
And it's got its own gravy. So
Yes.
it's very tasty.
No, I'm hungry.
I didn't go to Danzer's before the game because I actually lived in the valley. So my family was going to Danzer's in the old days all the time.
You still live in the valley sometimes. Tom.
Well, my mind
Yeah, I know,
goes
that's
back to the valley. It does. And so that was kind of a normal stop for us a couple times a month.
Do you like German beer, Tom?
I do. I like all beer, lots of beer, but German beer, sure. And the Oktoberfest stuff. What kind of Oktoberfest type beer do you have over there?
We've got a new one, Paul Inner.
Paul
Oktoberfest.
Inner?
Paul Linner.
Oh,
Is that like
It's Paullner.
Okay.
Pauliner?
Paulner. Okay, gotcha.
Is it good?
What's beer?
I don't really drink.
You're not a
that
beer.
kind of
You're not.
beer,
That's not
but
fair.
The people that drink
That's
it
what I'm like.
it.
Do the beer drinkers like it?
Yes.
Okay.
I have the Spaten Oktoberfest, and Sam Adams Oktoberfest is coming out.
There you go.
So
All good stuff. Hey, it's like pizza, baby. It's all good.
I know. And
So-
and when are you open? You're not open every day.
we're closed on Sunday and Monday.
Okay,
Right.
so Tuesday you can go get German beer, Tom. Wednesday you
Starting
get
at
stuff.
11:30, you can come get.
Oh, so
German
go
Okay.
for lunch. or
Yeah,
dinner.
yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and how late are you open in the evening?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday till 8. We serve till.
Okay.
That means you can come in at 8
Right.
Yeah, there we go.
and you can get served.
Oh, very nice.
Right.
So how many people just come to
9 on Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
Do people come in just to go to the bar sometimes? I mean, is that a
Yeah,
thing?
We have quite a few regulars, but usually because we serve food at the bar. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
A little cold to eat outside these days, right? People coming inside
Yeah,
because
outside,
they have that
outside
outside.
seatings. It's about time to pull that apart.
All right. Do you have an official Oktoberfest celebration happening, or is there something official? Or?
Not this October, but we did do an Oktoberfest with Willow Rock was right behind us. So
Okay.
Okay.
next year, possibly, we'll see.
Do you have one of those German outfits for Tom? You know, with the
I
suspenders.
did. We all wore our Drendel dresses.
Trendle dresses.
I think Tom would look
Yes.
cute in that. I really do.
Is German?
I just imagine that.
Are Lederhosen German? Is that a German?
Lederhosen,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Do you have entertainment over there at all? Anytime, or are you doing?
Not recently.
Okay.
No. We did have for the Oktoberfest. I did have the Syracuse Oktoberfest band
Okay.
and dancers. So,
Nice. And
So it's like the
Yeah.
state fair, Tom. You just go to watch the people.
Right.
everybody had a good
No
time.
kidding.
It was nice.
So you can get all your German kind of favorites from yesteryear over there, as well as some new stuff. Can you name a couple of the new, like, American fare,
Did you have some
dishes?
American stuff? I thought you were trying one or two
Yeah,
things.
we've got some nice riggies.
Okay, so you got some
They're pretty awesome.
chicken riggies.
That's not only
Chicken
American,
riggies.
Tom. That's
Well,
like
you can
Central
have it
New York.
with or without chicken.
Oh,
You
okay.
can have it hot or mild or
Hot with chicken, of
How
course.
do you want it?
And that comes with a nice vodka sauce, probably, right? Yeah, or a cream sauce.
Nice vodka sauce,
Yeah.
absolutely. Nice tenderloin medallions.
Ooh, yeah, that sounds good.
You know,
too.
Tom, when we had our open house here,
Yeah.
when we moved, we had the Reuben egg
Oh,
rolls.
yeah, Reuben egg rolls. Those
that
were
were
wonderful.
amazing.
Big hit.
Those were amazing because you have each little bite of Reuben.
Reubens and pastrami's and all that stuff. It's all over there. So, that's Shelly Skripnichuk right there. She's the new owner of Danzer's. Not so new anymore, right? You've been at it for...
going to be on our 6th year,
Yeah,
starting
6th year.
January 9th.
Very nice. Okay. Well, thank you for all you do, and thanks for keeping that restaurant open, and we'll send people your way, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Shelly.
It's appreciated, believe me.
All right. Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show. You can go off and, pretend like you know how to fish.
I am gonna catch some fish at some point here. Stop putting hooks in my
Keep
hand.
the hooks out of your body.
Yeah,
All right. On behalf of the local show and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Get some physical activity today and every day. Eat well and stay focused on healthy living. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM and streaming everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Check out the YouTube channel too at Zoe Advertising. Yay! 3, 2, 1.
I was trying to.
Let it restart.
Okay.
That was
I'm over here trying to be
that was
good.
kind of a George Costanza moment.
Yeah, really.
Sorry.
3, 2, 1.